What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to get free leads that will help you make more money as a life insurance agent. And I promise you, if you use this and you crack this method that I'm about to teach you, you are guaranteed to absolutely crush your competitions and make more money as a life insurance agent. And in this 6-step process, I'm going to share with you how you can make an extra just $1,000 per week without having to do any extra work. And ultimately, too, as a life insurance agent, my best month ever was $87,360. And if I would have done this back then, knowing what I know now, I would have probably sold over $150,000 of premium without buying any more leads, and I've been extremely profitable. And why I make this is because I actually taught this framework to an agent at my organization, Legacy Family Life, my agency, and immediately implemented it and made an extra sale literally yesterday after doing this. So I promise you that this stuff I'm about to teach you will help you make more money, and it's just literally 6 easy steps I'm going to break down to you. Now, why is this video so important to you? As ad budgets rise, as you're trying to figure out marketing, as you're trying to invest in leads, and the one thing that you must understand is that if you can outspend your competition, you will make more money than anybody in the industry. If you can spend $100 per lead, while your competition can only afford $5, $10, $15 leads, you will make more money. And here's exactly how you do it, because your clients will print you more money. Your client will print you more money, and I'm going to give you this strategy because your clients right now, what I'm going to teach you first step is to make your clients your number one lead source. Write that down. Your clients are your number one lead source. Now, you might ask, wait, how? I'm selling them something. How can they be my number one lead source? Well, the problem is you've probably never asked, and you've probably never had a foolproof game plan, an upsell proposition where you can structure your clients to literally feed your business forever. So if you want to just be fed and make a ton of money as a life insurance agent, I'm going to teach you the 5 steps. Now, let me give you the math that I'm thinking through right here. This is a simple framework that if you do this, you can take 10 sales. Let's just give hypothetical. If you sell 10 people, let me switch this side here. Let's say you sell 10 people a week, right? And you get 5 referrals, because I'm going to teach you how to get 5 referrals after every sale. That is 50 people that you are going to get by the end of this. Out of those 50 people, you times that by 20%, let's say 20% convert. Not only is referrals great business, you'll have an extra 10 sales. 10 sales times $50 per month policies is $600 average premium. That is $6,000 of average annual premium that you can make by just doing this simple method. So what I want to teach you is, first thing is how to do what I'm just talking about to make you more money. First thing is, it's going to be step number 1 in your script. Script part number 1. What I want you to add, and what we've added into our script, is in the first 30 to 60 seconds, when someone calls in or you calling them and they say, yeah, I'm looking for life insurance, we typically ask, okay, and who are you going to put down as your beneficiary? Or we typically ask, okay, and what is the date of birth? When we take them to the medical sections. The simplest way right now that you can add a his and her opportunity is by asking this simple question. Now, Miss Betty, I appreciate you calling. It shows here that you don't have any life insurance in place. Now, were you just looking for a quote for yourself or for yourself and a loved one? Why is that important? Well, it opens up the back door for a husband or a spouse or a friend policy. So if you don't ask, you won't make money. And if you don't do this stuff, you won't make money. But if you want to treat your clients as a lead source, which we just talked about here, then this is the first start. In the first 30 to 60 seconds, you're going to ask, well, Miss Betty, are you looking for a quote for yourself or for yourself and a loved one? Now, this is important. I'm going to teach you the frameworks, but if they say, oh yeah, my husband, you're not just going to go in and sell them a policy right then and there. You're just making a mental note. Okay, cool. Husband is here. Okay. You just know, hey, I'm going to get 1 referral from this. There's a husband that I'm going to go ahead and approach at the end of my call. So we're going to still sell Miss Betty a policy, because once you sell Miss Betty a policy, then you can go back and say, hey, Miss Betty, you remember when you told me that your husband, didn't have a policy as well? Would it be helpful to look at some options for him? But the big thing is looking for the 5 referrals, looking for those 5 people that are going to fuel your business. And here's step number 1. Step number 2 is, again, treat your clients as a lead source. And the way that you can do this is absolutely going to change. You probably never heard of this method before, is the beneficiary section. When we are doing applications, we sell a policy. We think we're just getting them an application and getting them approved, and we're taking care of them, we're making money off of them. But what if you made a full identity shift and process shift where every one of your beneficiaries got to pay you money? Every one of your clients' beneficiaries was an opportunity to make more money, and also help you help them, and ultimately help your client from being screwed over by their burial expenses. So it's a win-win for everyone. So how do you do that with the beneficiary? Typically, most people, when it comes to final expense, have at least one primary beneficiary, maybe two. And all you have to do is, this is it. You just have to add in one simple question. When you're doing the beneficiary form, it's okay. And Miss Betty, who do you want to put down as your primary beneficiary? I want to put my daughter. Okay, your daughter. Now, here's the question. Now, they make me check this special box. Does your daughter, Sarah, have an active life insurance? Yes or no? They make me check this special box. Does your daughter, Sarah, have a life insurance policy? Yes or no? Now, here's why this works. You can make your application process whatever you want it to. I told my team this yesterday. If you had to ask them, hey, what is your shoe size? I have to do it for the application. They would probably take off their shoe, look in the shoe, and give you the shoe size, because they don't know the process. They don't see your screen. They don't understand what's happening. So this is how you can add in specific questions that can fuel your business by simply asking. Now, they make me check this box. Does your daughter, does your husband, does your sister who's your age have a life insurance policy? Yes or no? I don't think so. And then if they say I don't think so, guess what? That's a referral. And even better, here's what you do next. You then get their phone number and put it on the application. You also get their age, because for all beneficiaries, you have to put their age. And you might see that they were born on 10 of 55. Okay? And if you sell final expense life insurance, is that a lead? If someone called in looking for life insurance that was born on 10/10/55, am I going to try to sell them something? Absolutely. Why? Because that is my target demographic, and I can sell them. Or if it's a sister, or if it's a friend, or if it's a daughter who's younger, do you have options in your product mix where you could sell a small child whole life policy, or you could sell a term product if that's what you think is best for them? Or do you have incredible knowledge about index universal lives and you actually structure them correctly? Could you do that? The answer is probably yes. But the question is, if you don't get the beneficiary as an opportunity, you'll never have that you'll never pull that off. So first step is add it to the script. Secondly is treat your primary beneficiaries as an opportunity to upsell and ask them that check the box. Now, the third step is your contingent beneficiaries. If I were to ask you right now, do you treat your contingent beneficiaries like gold? Do you actually do contingent beneficiaries? The answer is probably not. We get lazy. We think, hey, it's a waste of time. But now you're going to reframe your thought is that, hey, my clients, they're my lead source. So I have to get contingent beneficiaries. When it comes to contingent beneficiaries, do not waste this. This is a gold mine for leads. Do not waste this opportunity. Okay, I'm going to share with you how you do this. You should be able to get 2 to 3 contingent beneficiaries. But I'm also going to teach you a method that has never been talked about before. The contingent beneficiary method is this. Most people add contingent, if I'm doing a policy, again, we did the beneficiaries, now it's contingent, now, Miss Betty, most people typically add contingent beneficiaries as backups, which typically are like their grandkids that they love, that if their spouse or kids run around, that they would add on as a policy. Which one of your grandkids would you want to add on here as your contingent beneficiary? Which one of your grandkids would you want to add on as your contingent beneficiary? And then they'll typically give you 2 or 3. Now, here's the thing. With seniors, they love their grandkids, right? They typically want to make sure their grandkids are taken care of. They'll talk about their grandkids in their actual discovery or the sales process. So you need to pay attention to that. When they talk about their grandkids name, Jimmy, or Miss Betty tells you that her daughter has 7 grandkids, that is something that you're going to take a mental image and you're going to re-loop that into the contingent beneficiary section, and you're going to go ahead and get the names of their grandkids, because I'm going to share with you how that's going to come back. But your grandkids are an opportunity for a sales opportunity. So I'm going to share with you how to do that. But all you have to do is just structure it. However you ask your question is exactly how you'll be rewarded by the answer of your client. So if I say, Miss Betty, do you want to put a contingent on? What is she going to say? Probably not. I'm good. Well, if I said instead, Miss Betty, most people, nearly all my seniors that I help typically put their grandkids down as a contingent beneficiary. Which 2 of your grandkids do you want to put down? She will think, she will process it, and she'll give you 2 names, and boom, you've just gotten 2 referrals. And in this process, you've got 1 from who we're looking for, we've got 1 beneficiary, that's 2, and then we've got 2 grandkids, that's 4 beneficiaries, 4 leads, 4 opportunities for you to make more money as a life insurance agent, right there. Now, step number 4 is having the quick upsell. Okay, so now that we're talking about the script, if they've told you, hey, yeah, my husband wants to get a policy, or my daughter was looking into it, into your discovery, and you've asked them, are you looking for a quote for yourself or for a loved one? You gotta go for the quick upsell, and that's at the end of the process. Now, how do you do that? So after you sell Miss Betty a policy, and she told you that her husband Jim Tom was looking for a life insurance policy because you asked question number 1. At the end, you're going to say, congratulations, Miss Betty. You have been fully approved for the $10,000 whole life insurance program with Mutual. Congratulations. How's that make you feel? She's going to say, awesome. Now, Miss Betty, I know that you told me earlier that your husband Jim Tom didn't have any life insurance in place. Now that your plan is locked in, does it make sense to make sure that you're not stuck with Jim Tom's funeral expenses, just like you put a policy to protect him? Would it make sense to see what options are available for him? What do you think she's going to say? She's going to say, probably, yeah, okay, absolutely. So you have to make sure that you help her first. You don't want to do 2 at once. You want to help the primary decision maker first, because she's already made the primary decision, and then you upsell at the end when you congratulate her, and you simply make it a logical statement. Hey, Miss Betty, you just got a policy to make sure that your husband Jim Tom's not stuck paying for your burial expenses. Do you want to make sure that you're not stuck with the Jim Tom's burial expenses? I can give you a quick quote. Would that be helpful? And then they're going to say yes. Or they say, hey, let's do it another time, but at least you've tried, you've asked, you stepped out on a limb and put yourself in a position to want to help serve their family. And if you do that correctly, you'll just minimally sell an extra 1 or 2 policies per week if you're thinking and you're using your discovery. If you're listening to them well in your application, they're going to talk about their husband, they're going to talk about their sister, they're going to talk about their children. Now, here's the kicker. If they put their, let's say they put their daughter on the beneficiary, here's the upsell. It doesn't say, it's not about the spouse. It's now, hey, Miss Betty, I know you told me that your daughter has coverage, but, ultimately, do you feel like it would be helpful to potentially add on more coverage for her so you're not stuck with the burial expenses? Or, hey, Miss Betty, you told me earlier that your husband John does have a policy. Do you know how much coverage he has by chance? And you can really use this quick upsell after you sold her as an opportunity to probe and figure out, is there value in their friends, their loved ones' policies that you can upsell and make ultimately a great sale. A great example is this. One of our agents this week asked this question, and the wife was like, yeah, my husband, he does have a policy through the VA, but his policy ended up having a 2-year waiting period. We asked about it, we dove into it, and we found out that we could help and bring more value by just asking and probing about someone else's policy. But you have to remove your fear. If you're scared to do this, then you're scared to win. If you're scared to do this, you're scared to be great, because it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of grit. It's going to take a lot of uncomfortability. But if you do this, you'll provide better for your family and you will help more people and you will be a better life insurance agent. Okay. Step number 5 is the emergency contact list. Let's say we struck out on script number 1. We struck out on beneficiaries. We struck out on contingents. We're just not getting the traction. We struck out on the upsell. Well, then number 5 is going to be the emergency contact. And this is a very, very simple process to nurture 3 to 5 referrals if you have to. Okay, there's companies right now that give you 0 leads and people make a ton of money because of this. There are companies right now where they say, hell yeah, we'll give you 100 leads, and after that, you have to, sit down with the prospect for 5 to 10 minutes after and build your own list. Go for it. And people build sustainable businesses, and you can do this the same thing if you actually adopt this. Now, how do you do that process? Your emergency contract is a commitment to help your client. So here's the thing with contacts, referrals. You're typically scared to ask for referrals because it doesn't benefit your client. For example, if you're asking for an emergency referral, like, hey, can you refer your friends and family? They're going to be like, no, that's weird. I don't want my friends and family involved. But if you make it about how it's going to help your prospect succeed with their policy better, or make sure that's going to benefit your prospect, they're more likely willing to give you referrals. And how are you going to do that? It is this. Now, Miss Betty, if you die, who are the 3 to 5 people that you authorize me that I can call to ensure that this $20,000 policy actually gets paid out. Now, the problem is, Miss Betty, most people get policies, and if they die, no one knows about it. I want to make sure your policy actually gets paid out. So who are 3 to 5 people that you can authorize myself to have their phone numbers to make sure that if you die and do the death certificate, I can make sure this policy gets paid out? Who are the 3 to 5 people? And what they're going to do is they're going to think, hey, this is going to benefit me. I actually want to make sure that this thing gets paid out. So let's put down 3 to 5 people. And in this case, they're going to give you like their husband, they're going to give you their friend, they're going to give you their sister, the neighbor down the street. Those are all referrals. And all you have to do is grab their phone number because, hey, remember, you're going to call them if you die. You're going to get their phone number, their age, their state of where they live in, and you have to make sure you have an effective handoff. What is the effective handoff? The effective handoff would sound like this. No one wants to be called out of the blue, do they? If you get something and you're like, wait, you get a call, hey, I'm calling about a new mattress. Your mom got a mattress. She said that you want a mattress. You're like, wait, what? I don't want a mattress. My mom never told me about this. That person immediately would be standoffish, turned off. They would not want to be someone to buy your product. But instead, your handoff is really important. What you have to do is make sure that your client that you just sold initiates that handoff. And what that handoff would look like is, hey, Miss Betty, can you go ahead and tell Sarah, your emergency contact, that this crazy guy, Peter Roberts, would be calling out to make sure that your family's taken care of? Can you let Sarah know before I call her in about a day or two to make sure that she knows that she's down as an emergency contact? Can you do that for me? Then she says yes. So here's the simple way. Step number 5 is emergency contacts. Ask who are 3 to 5 people that I can put down as an emergency contact so that when you die, I know your policy pays out. Get 3 to 5 names. Then it's actually nurturing and calling those emergency contacts. So step number 6 is actually call them. So after you do the handoff, now it's time to call Sarah, Miss Betty's daughter, to make sure that she's listed as the emergency contact. Here's the script for it. So, hey, Sarah, did your mom tell you I was calling? No, who's this? Well, your mom put you down as an emergency contact. Ultimately, what that means, so I got it backwards. So your mom put you down as an emergency contact. Did she let you know I was calling today? That'd be calling today. Oh, no, she didn't. Or yes, she did. Okay, great. Well, the reason I'm calling is because your mom got a life insurance policy. She put you down as the emergency contact. So I want to give you my information so that if your mom passed away, we can ultimately make sure that all the funeral expenses are paid out completely and quickly. Can you go ahead and grab a pen and paper for me? Sure. Okay, write down my name. It's Peter Roberts. Here's my direct number. And ultimately, I want you to save me in your phone. I want you to know, Miss Sarah, that I'm always going to be here for you and your mom, Betty, okay? Awesome. Great. So it's providing value. In emergency contact 1, you're trying to provide value. In calling your emergency contacts, you're providing value because you're saying, hey, if you die, I want to make sure this money gets paid out. The last thing is the actual soft appointment, okay? And this is where you actually get paid, and this is where you actually close deals. It's, well, Sarah, before I go, I'll make this offer to every one of my, children, of my beneficiaries, or of my clients, or I make this offer to everyone that I speak to. It's a quick question. It's just kind of random. When was the last time you even had your life insurance reviewed? Okay. When was the last time that you had your life insurance reviewed? I don't know. I don't have life insurance. Oh, you don't have life insurance? Okay. No worries. Well, most clients typically don't that I speak with. Miss Sarah, would it be potentially would you be open to reviewing some options that are available for you? I can call you sometime tomorrow. Does the morning or the evening work? And then what you're doing is you're actually setting a soft appointment. You're not going for the one call close because she wasn't really a warm, hot lead. You can try it, but there's typically some resistance because you just called her out of the blue and you're trying to sell her life insurance when she's not really mentally prepared or even emotionally ready to do this. So what you do is you just set a soft appointment. Miss Betty, Miss Sarah, how about we do this? Let's set up a time tomorrow. Does mornings or evening work? And I can at least review some options for you. You then have that soft appointment. You set on your calendar, and then you go ahead and close them up. So that is just the simplest framework when it comes to just the 5 referrals per sale. And if you do this, you'll get 1 from your script. You'll get 1 from your beneficiary. You'll typically get 2 to 3, hopefully 1 to 2. Let's say 2 from your contingents. That's 4 leads. And then you get an upsell that might not be there or will be there. And then you have 3 to 5 emergency contacts. So you could walk away with 5 to 8 referrals every single time you sell someone. And out of those 5 to 8 referrals, do you think at least 1 person would buy? Or you can make your clients just a little bit worth more, just a little bit, and print more money? The answer is absolutely yes. But most people aren't going to do this. Most people are going to watch this video and not actually implement it. But I promise you, if you implement this, you will absolutely crush your competitions. You will print more money. your customer acquisition costs will go down. Your long-term value per client is going to go up incredibly, which allows you to make sure that your clients are now your lead source, where you can literally print money on every sale and ultimately build sustainability and outspend your client. Because if your client is worth $1,000, who's going to win? So if one company's client is worth $1,000, or my client is worth 1,900, what company is going to win? A or B? Okay. Obviously client B, because now their acquisition costs have gone down and they can spend, let's say, $75 per lead instead of just, $15 per lead. Okay. And if you can repeat this process and you can get $75 qualified leads, you're going to absolutely crush your clients, because you can take the hope that, hey, I know I can generate one client and turn them into 2 to 3, and then I can ultimately spend more money to acquire that one client. If I have a repeatable process and you follow this framework, you'll do it. So love you guys. If you want more videos like this, let me know. If you haven't checked out, I'm actually dropping this full script on my school community. I have a free school community. It's in the link below, where you can just have the scripts for all this, so that I want to give something away for free for you. So I have a free script. I'll have that in my school community. It's completely free. You have nothing to sell you, and it's going to allow you to ultimately get all the scripts, the word tracks that allow this all to come together. So cheers, and I'll see you in a bit.